Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome sauce. I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm working on a novella now called Princess of Rabies. It's basically pretty blasphemous. I hope you'll find it so. Backstory, this is an excerpt. You're going to basically hear the last quarter of the first chapter to the opening of the novella. Backstory, you're going to get some backstory in this excerpt, but a trans woman basically loses her job basically because of discrimination laws that are still in place nationwide. She sort of ends up finding a lucrative living from stripping as a result of that. Basically tripling her income, but the complication that arises is that she is kidnapped by a religious cult that tries to convert her to realize the error of her ways, and her revenge is pretty sweet. How do you find it so? So since I'm going to be cutting a lot out of this excerpt, hopefully from this line that I'm going to excise, you'll enjoy. Payback, yeah, I'm going to take my glasses off of this because I'm nearsighted. Payback gives me an epic boner that would dwarf that of any unicorn. So hopefully you'll find some encapsulation of this. Basically, she has become a sort of vampire, and she has kidnapped the two youngest children of this family that had kidnapped her, and humiliates the fuck out of them. Hopefully you'll find it so. 11:37 to 11:49 p.m. The skin of Eli and Jean Colvin is so withered and caved in, looking. I check to see if they're still alive and with us. My will and its magic is good and right. They should be dead. But some combination of my sorcery and their innate biological imperative to just stay alive keeps their hearts pumping blood directly into us. Sweet victim's blood through Colette, Mimsy, and me. It tastes so awesome. Not quite as exquisite as baby blood, but pretty fucking tasty still. I actually don't think I've ever felt this kind of ecstasy, not even the time I first shot heroin with Desdemona and the other homeless courtesans by the bonfire at the salt trucks. I actually think that this was the first night I was made Lilin, long after Eli and Jean Colvin had first shaved my head, cut out my breast implants with a pair of scissors, and sent me back naked onto the streets, when I wouldn't repeat their prescribed command of scum-Christ devotion. I had become too weak and dehydrated to say much of anything by that time. They set me loose. I also remember waking up nauseous the next morning. They set me up inside Salt Truck 005 with what felt like a big bug bite on the back of my neck. All uphill from there as I transformed by grim stages to Lilin form, and to begin to oblige the hungry but unprepared streets. I pretty much bit the city's fucking face off, but it never died from that wound. So now I'm back for total ripping destruction of the city, and with two devoted children to help me achieve that end. 11:50 to 11:52. I generate an extra pair of tentacles. Yeah, you know me. You know me too well. To the sideboard, I pour myself a whiskey, combined with the blood that the drink tastes so good, burns down my throat, and even my own blasphemy sings with pleasure as I pull Eli and Jean's souls closer to me. Tractor beam, they of all people can't escape because they made this too easy. Colette's dress hangs in shreds due to her having sprouted about 200 quills with smaller intermittent rudimentary probes, writhing in between, blind roving tongues, and Mimsy, almost squid-like, with 9 large reddish-brown squirming tentacles that originate mostly from beneath her waist and from her back. 30 smaller dancing tendrils that sheath and unsheath, thorn-sharp, white, dribbling stingers. The shag carpet is hissing from their corrosive jism. A mist rises and begins to sizzle from peeling the paint on the dining room walls. They all begin to bump grind in their dresses. as the blood from their false parents courses through her, and I think there's a deep, wonderful part of her that's beginning, by tidal increments, to enjoy this as much as I am. She's going to do just fine. Eli and Jean Colvin are beginning to drip dry. These are the cult leaders. Slide down my clutches, but I stay fastened, squeeze their dying hearts with increasing force. While we're on the subject of spirits, I've chained them both into a teeming spiral vortex of damned, uncanny energy directly in front of my head where I can see them roil and reach skyward. This pinnacle of achievement of alchemic will is entirely new to me, and I moan with delight as they scream ultrasonic, backward-sounding obscenities at me. They refuse my invitation to eternity. I narrow my eyes and zoom to the granular sinews of their torment. It's really, really good. They're almost squeezed dry, and remember that technically, in order for this to be a true birthday celebration for the twins, Colette and Mimsy, a true baptism will come. They must first finish as close to midnight as possible. 11:59 strikes, and I address everyone present in a seething, sonorous, crushing voice. This is the final countdown, and it's the last minute. And as the luminescence of Eli and Jean Colvin realize what I'm about to do, they frenetically pray to their God, and I give that a polite few seconds, and no one intervenes. Mimsy then suddenly begins to realize what has happened to her, and she begins to wail. She's got a great new set of pipes. I'm going to skip over a bit here. Eli and Jean Colvin are deflated balloons, gray powdery flesh, but I'm still squeezing every drop loose from every extremity to keep their hearts pumping, filling, offering, draining, felching in again. But these final dregs of their blood are beginning to taste sour and gelatinous. Nevertheless, I've had worse, like the time Eli Colvin forced me to eat dog food at this very same dinner table with my right hand clamped with a vice upon their Bible. 11:59:30, Colette abruptly joins her sister in the oral tantrum. But it's more of a softly mewling contemplation of their desperate fate. 11:59:45, I remind the souls of Eli and Jean Colvin, the freezing metal chair they duct taped me to in the basement when they demanded I renounce my sinful and beastly confused condition. I've given them a bird's eye view of what to expect from their looming eternity. From that vantage point, with a crystal clear 360-degree view of the entire freezing void, they'll be forced to watch as we descend upon Michael Colvin, their oldest son, sitting in his tower. Stop, beast. No, stop. Please. From everyone present, including the twins. The pleasure this invokes in me as a juggernaut, and holding back my climax now is an act of faith, an act of will, an act of technique. The real good, classic 10-second countdown begins. I give a quick, affectionate tap to the frantic cosmic vortex containing Eli and Jean Colvin, my captors. Open my mouth, and I let out my epic black tongue, and I detach their pig souls utterly from their bodies. I swallow them down with their everlasting opaque crypt. I don't just throw away the key, I melt it down and squirt it out my asshole. Yeah! This time, the floor, walls, and ceiling of the entire Colvin house begin to buckle and quiver. The synchronization is now imminent, but I'm determined to milk this until the last possible fucking second. I set the pattern of action, pronounce my decree throughout the haunted air, and at the tail end of my countdown, I fear I might just explode in this incredible plateau of hammering pink bliss. I have to be sure, however, that Colette and Mimsy can witness what I do to the corpses of their former elders. We are the Lilin. Far off in this tower, at that moment, I can hear the oldest, the brother, Michael Colvin, swallow a tiny glut of saliva down the wrong pipe, and he begins coughing violently. Good, get used to that discomfort, fuckbag. The portrait of pensive Jesus at the far end of the driving room falls to the ground and shatters as it lands on the uncarpeted part of the buckling floor. Happy fucking birthday! 11:59:59 is the spark that collapses the hearts of Eli and Jean Colvin, burns them to ash. The pruned heads snap off backwards, and to mirror that totem, I reach down and yank Colette and Mimsy's heads back by their hair, and as their screaming seems to reach the very heavens, speaking of which, fuck. Yeah, fuck, fuck, fuck. I'm really up there now, and higher than your God. With immaculate harmony and our multifaceted proboscises stretch out to the fullest extent and bulge even more insanely. At top dead midnight, we soak the entire Colvin the entire Colvin house in a flood of righteous holy plasma. The last time I brought that many, I promised there were children entering the room, so I hope that's safe for work.
Again, family-friendly entertainment.